Hello and welcome back to the channel. Now, if you are a regular viewer of this channel, and if so, thanks for coming back, you may be thinking, Neil, where is all this content that you promised us not so very long ago about rebuilding your sim and vlogs about designing the new systems and just lots of general updates about how that project is going? And you may be thinking, we haven't seen any, so what have we been missing out on? Well, let me be the first to assure you, you haven't missed out on anything. So, pretty much, I haven't done any work on the sim since the last video that you saw. And in fact, I've barely used the temporary sim in the last few months. I'd say maybe half a dozen times at most. And there's reasons for that. There's always reasons. I'm not going to go into great detail, but one reason is that I became ill. And I've been ill for a little while, and to be honest, it's kind of sapped my will to get on with the project and actually my ability to get on with it some of the time. So things have kind of stuck where they were. I did some renovation work, I guess, in the build room, in the back bedroom. I got so far with that, and then that stopped, so there's still more of that to do. I talked about pulling up the carpet, looking at the floor underneath, but there's still things to do with the walls, and I only got so far through that, and so that's kind of where we are. And to be honest, I thought I owed you some content. It's been at least a couple of months since the last video, maybe nearly 3, and I'm acutely aware that I've not done anything because, as I say, I've really not touched the sim. So I've got the sim out today, and we're just going to go for a bit of a flight, really. Nothing spectacular, nothing particularly special, no particular topic. Just take MSFS out for a spin on what is quite a nice day and see what we can see. So let's get on with that. Right, so here we are in Microsoft Flight Sim, and the familiar home screen, and I'm going to go to the world map, and we have to decide where to go from that. At the moment I'm focused on El Prat airport in Barcelona because I was flying around in the updated Iberian scenery, and we could do that. We could go for a fly around there, but I thought maybe something a little bit different, so let's just zoom the map out a bit. I want to go with live weather, so I want somewhere where it's nice and light. Still the case in most of Western Europe, so we could fly around here. It'll be dark here within probably a couple of hours, I should think. Not totally sure what that is. Ah. Oh, those are the Azores. Yes, those are the Azores. What if the Azores are any fun? Let's zoom in on the Azores. Let's see what we've got to see. Well, we obviously have a big volcano to see. Sorry, my zoom skills are not elite. And we can fly between these two islands. Doesn't look like a particularly long distance. So why don't we quickly... I mean, to be honest with you, I'm not even going to bother planning a flight per se, nor am I going to use ATC or any of that kind of stuff. This is just, we're literally just going for a fly this afternoon because that's kind of what this sim is for. But I will just put in a tiny flight plan to travel between these islands. 46 kilometers, yeah, it won't take very long. We'll fly around before we do that, but it just gives me something to have in my system. I'm going to start from parking though, because I don't like to just start on the runway. So I'll start at parking number 1 at Pico Airport. And we'll assume we're going into runway number 10, and it's going to be VFR direct. Today we're going to be in the Cirrus SR-22. Not the fastest aircraft out there, but it's nice for sightseeing. It's not a bad little aircraft. I've been flying pretty much all the aircraft in MSFS that have the G1000 in, and a couple that haven't. and I've been doing custom profiles on my Simionic G1000 setup for that. And actually, in terms of what I've been doing in the sim world, most of my efforts have been confined to that, because that was stuff that I could do without putting in too much physical effort, which I wasn't able to do. So I have been working on some software for the Simionic platform for tooling to let people create and transmit custom profiles, etc., and assembling a few of those. Right, I'm going to have other players off just to make it nice and simple. I'm going to have live traffic on, not AI traffic, and I'm going to have the live weather because it looks okay. And yeah, I think we're good with that. Let's get into the sim. Alright, so here we are, ready to fly. And as usual, first thing I need to do is a little bit of adjusting of the view. So get my camera up as high as I can. Yeah, and then I'm going to pull the horizon down with my patented tilt your head back technique. And I'm just going to yeah, push the camera forward until just get most of that out of the way. Ooh, I said the live weather looked okay, but do you know what? It really doesn't. No, it doesn't. So I'm going to adjust the weather. Oops, that wasn't what I wanted to do. Tell I haven't used the sim much recently. Let's go to the weather toolbar and switch off the live weather. We're going to go for... no, let's go for a few clouds. Yeah, there you go. That's not bad. It's all very, very standard weather theme stuff. Again, this flight is not about accuracy or procedures or anything like that. We're just out having a bit of fun. Unfortunately, with it being towards the end of the day, the light is coming in quite strongly through the window right next to me here, so it's kind of making the screen a bit of a washout as well. Again, I could play with the TV settings, but this is all just casual stuff, so let's not worry overly about it. But we're in the aircraft. Cirrus is, of course, dead simple as far as systems go. Just need to reset all my switches. Okay, everything else looks good. Yeah. Let's just have a quick look around in the cockpit. So G1000. This is the, I don't know which variant of the G1000, I don't know what the numbers are, but this is the one that has the autopilot controls and the audio controls separate. Doesn't matter, obviously I'll use the Simionic as if it were a regular G1000. But you've got all those panels. Just got a single power lever, make sure that's mapped. Mixture lever, that's mapped. And we've got our fuel tank selector. Obviously, got to remember to switch that from time to time because this doesn't have auto fuel selection. So flaps also, let's just make sure. Yeah, flap ranges are good. Alright then. So let's get some power to the aircraft. Get the avionics up. You can see the G1000 pops up. So I've got this configured as closely to a Cirrus setup as I can. Obviously this is not NXI or perspective. This is bog standard G1000. If we actually pop back into the cockpit for a minute. And I'll just need my keyboard for this since I can't control this with any other key. There we go, let that go. So, if you compare and contrast. So I've got the... that's interesting. So it's got the inches of mercury measurement. That doesn't look right to me. Let's just pop into the G1000 customization. Have a look. Oh, I see why it's done that. Okay. So let's switch to Saitek, which I think is what it should be. Yeah, we've actually got the max power watt settings in there, and it looks like they're all green here. So I'll just set a green range from 0 to 100. I'll save and activate that. I'll need to update my profile settings. Yeah, so that's gone over to load now, which is load and power are basically the same thing, but yeah, and then the other ranges look to be not too far off where they should be. Cylinder head temperature and exhaust gas temperature readings. I'm not sure if I can actually get those. I've actually set those ranges, but they're not displayed here. Again, you know, the customization of Simionic is a little bit of a fine art, and I know that the author of the app is currently writing basically a new app based on the NXI system. So hopefully it'll be a bit more of a faithful rendition and probably customizable in some slightly new and interesting ways. But we won't know for a while. So this is what we've got. Alright, so anyway, we've got power. We don't want to lose our electrical, so let's just have, I don't need to worry about the prop lever, let's just have the mixture full forward. Let's make sure the fuel valve is open. Let's have the lights on, beacon light on, shove my head out the window and shout clear prop, and then we'll start. Alright. That looks like not a bad start. Yep, things moving as they should. Right then. So we're going to take off. We're going to head south towards that big volcano. Have a look at that, and then we'll set course for the other island. Just probably do a direct to, so I won't bother putting a course in here until I'm ready, and then we'll fly to there and we'll land there. So it shouldn't be a very long flight, but you know, it gets the sim some exercise, which I guess is the main thing. All right, so we have runway 0927 here. The wind is basically from about, looks like 280 at 2. So yeah, 27 makes sense. It's a very slightly longer taxi, but not by much. Right then. So let's have our flaps for takeoff, just so that we don't forget, and our elevator trim. Make sure that's in the green. We'll have the nav lights on and the taxi lights on, the pitot heat on. Which I don't need the cockpit lights right now. I suspect I'll probably move as soon as the parking brake comes off. Let's see. Parking brake off. No, we're good at idle. Right then, so speaking of which, have we got... we do. Oh, interesting livery. Got a flowery livery. Fair enough. Yeah, not a bad looking airport actually. Let's just pop out the drone for a minute and have a look at it. It looks like it may be a handcrafted. No, it definitely is handcrafted. Although we've got that interesting problem with the cars not loading their textures until you get nearer to them. It's all down to the level of detail settings, I think. I'm going to do some experimenting with settings to try and improve some aspects of the performance. So I may do some video content about that. In fact, I was half thinking about doing that today, but I'm not really quite ready for it. But yeah, so we're going down here, and there's no other traffic around. We don't have any live players, so we're good with that. Let's get back in the cockpit and we'll get moving. So I'm not going to bother with ATC this time either. I think the parking brake may have been off and I put it on. Oh yeah, so it was. Oh dear, oh dear, oh dear. So yeah, I am moving at idle. Powerful little engine, this. So actually, putting together these custom profiles for these aircraft is quite a useful little eye-opener actually, because you have to go and look up the type information. You have to mostly I go and get the engine certification. The EU certification is normally the one that I can find most easily. Tell me about the power plant, and then if I can get hold of a copy of the pilot's operating handbook, then that will give me a lot of the other stuff that I need. If not, then it's basically scrounging the internet as best I can. A few little stutters. I'd say performance in this sim is a bit of a fine art. Sometimes it seems like it's like it's brilliant, and other times not so good. And it isn't just about scenery complexity. I expect central London, big cities, to be a little bit of a stutter fest occasionally. Although curiously, some big cities are better than others. But sometimes you get odd stutters for no apparently good reason. Happy Easter as well, by the way, for those who celebrate those things. It's actually Easter Monday today, so I've kind of missed the main event. I wouldn't say I'm much of an Easter celebrant myself, but mostly here in the UK we view it as an opportunity to have a long weekend and a nice dinner if you're not of a religious bent. If you are, then obviously if you're Christians, then this is, I guess, the most important of the festivals for you. So hopefully, irrespective of your personal approach, that you've had a good one, and if you don't celebrate it, then I hope you had a good weekend anyway. Let's just stop here. Right, let's have the landing lights on. I'm going to set an altitude. Let's go up to, let's say 2,000 initially. Obviously that volcano is going to be more than 2,000 feet, so we might pop up a little bit later. I'm going to set the VS speed to a nice 800 feet per minute, fairly sedate. And we'll just set heading mode on runway heading to begin with. Then we can get straight over to the autopilot. I don't mind a bit of hand flying, but to be honest, if I'm sightseeing, I'd rather have the autopilot in control so I can spend my time looking around. Obviously, if I'm doing a hand flying challenge deliberately, then that's a different matter. And sometimes I will do circuit practice, and again, maybe I'll make some videos of that. But yeah, it's not like I've been doing that and not making content. I've really not been touching this sim at all. Just to get that horizon line down just a little bit. Yeah, that's better. Alright, I think we are all ready to go. So, let's go. Advance the power. Quite a noisy little beast. Coming up on rotate. There we go. And it positively leaps off the ground. Fixed gear, so no need for the gear to go up. Flaps can come up. And let's have the autopilot. Alright. Good takeoff. Down a bit because that's very loud. I guess it must be very loud in the actual real aircraft. Pull the power back just a little bit. Oh yeah, I forgot to turn on my butt kicker. Let's do that. Ooh, that's quite strong butt kicking. Yeah, that's better. Right then, there's the other island. We're going there eventually, but for now, let's turn to the south. Take a look at what we can see. So, the town down there is Magdalena, looks like. There is Magdalena. Looks like it's got some attention as part of the Iberian update. We're going to turn nearer the southeast, so we're going to head towards the volcano. Not that you can miss it, it's kind of right there. Yeah, I think we'll need to climb to get up the slopes, really, so let's go back to climb. So the prop animation's a little bit stuttery. Don't know why. I mean, it's not a frame stutter or anything. I think it's just the animations like that. This is a completely new aircraft to me. You know, I did the custom profile for it a few days ago, and this is actually my first time flying it in the sim. So, if you fly the SR-22 in MSFS and you've got a better prop animation than me, let me know. Right, I just want to make sure I don't collide with any terrain here. So I'm going to need to increase my rate of climb a little bit. Also, I'm not going to try and go over the peak, so we'll turn left in a minute and we'll go around it. But yeah, I'm finding that prop animation a little bit distracting. Around 500 feet over the terrain, so we're going to turn now. I'm still in inches of mercury from my previous flying in the US. Let's go back over to hectopascals. We'll turn on the synthetic version as well. So the update rate in the Simionic apps is not great, which kind of implies that the sim is not feeding it with data that quickly. Over there. I do quite like the wind farms in MSFS. I mean, I think the turbines are pretty much the same wherever you go, and of course that isn't the case in the real world, but they are quite realistic, I think. I'm going to stop at 4500. And now we're in the cloud. Bouncing around a bit. Town down there. I think, yeah, and obviously people use MSFS for, well, lots of different things, just like any other sim platform. There are people out there trying quite hard to do, you know, realistic IFR flying with systems, etc. But really the aircraft for that just aren't there yet, like the big jets in MSFS, despite the efforts of working title and people like that. They're still not there. The system's depth is not there. So really for me, it's primarily a VFR flying tool. Although I do like to do some longer distance flights in the sim. It's just I don't expect them to be procedurally realistic. So it is mostly about seeing what you can see. That prop animation is really bugging me, I have to say. And it's odd because they're not normally like that. I wonder if there's some kind of issue with it that people know about. There's a nature reserve off to my right there. Apparently where the windmills are. Yeah, I think if this is how the SR-22 is going to be, I might for this kind of flying go back to the DA-40. Depending on which version of the game you've got, there are 1 or 2 DA-40s. So there's a DA-40 NG, which I think is in the base game, and then there's a DA-40 TDI, which is a turbocharged version. They mainly differ by having different engines, from what I can understand. Systems are all the same. And I've got both of those converted over, so I can fly both of those. And I've played with the NG and quite liked it, I have to say. Right, let's just turn to the south now, complete our lap around the volcano, and then we'll head towards the other island and our landing. But as I said, I've been flying most of the aircraft with G1000, and there's a lot of them actually. If I bring up the customization page here in the Simionic, you can see I've got the that's the Cessna Grand Caravan. This is the SR-22. I've got the TBM 930 turboprop. That's the Diamond DA-40 NG, TDI, Bonanza, the G36 in the game, the King Air. Now the King Air is not actually a G1000 aircraft. In the real world, it uses the Garmin GXI, I think it's called, which is a not dissimilar system, but it's got touchscreens, and it's the same thing that the Cub has. But you can easily enough create a G1000 profile that lets you fly it quite well. So I've got one of those. I've got the Mooney. I've got the PC6, the Pilatus PC6 that comes with. I'm not sure which version of the game. I've got the Premium Deluxe. I've basically got them all. And then Simwork Studios Kodiak 100. I've had that for a while. That's plumbed in as well. So those are all aircraft I can fly with this configuration with the G1000 without needing to put monitors in these slots. At which point I would need pop out panels for the gauges, which you just don't have in the game at the moment because it doesn't have true multi-monitor support. Most of the aircraft don't have much in the way of pop-outs. You've got the G1000 screens, you've got the G3000 additional screens, but most aircraft in the sim don't have many, if any, pop-out panels, and from what I can see, the commercial ones don't either. And again, this is a problem for cockpit builders like myself, because we need all that kind of stuff to make a realistic in-cockpit experience for non-G1000 aircraft. that and a bunch of other things are kind of grinding my gears a bit about MSFS, to the extent that, you know, when I thought this was a temporary sim for maybe, you know, 3 to 6 months, and at the end of that I'd have a newly built main sim that I could go to, I was quite satisfied to just fiddle around with MSFS on this and leave it at that. Given that things are going so slowly and are likely to stay relatively slow because of my personal situation, and I'm not going to talk about that on the channel here, but if you want to know all about my medical problems, follow me on Twitter, because I am known for oversharing. But as a result, I suspected it could be, you know, the end of 2022 or sometime in 2023 when I have a working new sim, if indeed I get around to it at all. I mean, I hope I will. Sorry, that sounds terribly ominous. Don't get me wrong. I'm not seriously ill in the sense of maybe I won't be here next year. It's nothing like that. But it's, you know, it is getting in the way of me doing my work. So because that's all slowed down and the temporary sim is you know, no longer quite so temporary, then I am going to put Prepared on this temporary sim and try and set it up so I can do some more meaningful long-haul IFR flights in, you know, regional jets and biz jets and airliners, and I'll be able to use the Simionic setup, but I'll also be able to use the existing monitors that fit in here. So there's quite a lot of work involved in that, and again, that ain't going to happen anytime soon. But when I do that, I will probably make some content around getting P3D, because, you know, my old P3D setup is, I've got it all backed up and I have all the necessary customizations and files backed up, but I will start from scratch and just add the bits that I need later. So in the time since I've been over here in MSFS world, Prepared 5.3 has come out, which is widely acknowledged to be pretty damn good. You know, not a patch on this graphic wise, but in terms of the performance and a lot of the bugbears that we've had in previous versions, you know, a lot of people seem to think it's the best version so far. So that looks like either volcanic, previous volcanic debris. Is this an active volcano? I guess it might be. I mean, it's clearly a volcano. Who knows how long those have been here. Just want to avoid colliding with that, so I'll make a left turn, Clyde. Come around the flank of the mountain, and then we'll head direct to our destination airport, which is LPHR. So let's do a direct to LPHR, Water Airport. Come around on that course. But yeah, check it out. It's quite scenic around here. That's not a lighting effect, is it? That's actually a texture effect. Looks like the textures on the side of the volcano were photographed through cloud of some description. That can't be a lighting effect. I mean, where is the sun anyway? Can't quite see it. Oops. I'm going to do that, at least do it the right way. Ah, there it is. There's the sun. Oh, so maybe it is lighting, but that's pretty extreme lighting if it is. So I hope you're all doing well. Come down to 1500. slow it down because it's not exactly a long trip to this place. Go nav mode. Let the aircraft fly us. Yeah, I hope it's all good with you. You're getting decent flying time in. Whatever projects you've got going on are hopefully good. I think we can manage 1500 feet per minute descent in this aircraft without ripping the wings off. I'm going to go idle throttle and just slow it down a little bit though. So the airport we're looking for is just see where that little landmass out there is sticking out. Not that one, but that one. It's just around there, Horta Airport. So we've got another volcano on this island. What island is this one? It's at home. Island this is. Nice little harbour there. Bit of a town. That's the town of Horta, whose airport we are approaching. Soon be at 1500 feet. Have a look at the airport, and given that we've got a headwind now, it would be a straight in approach depending on exactly where the runway is. Let's have a look at it. So it's 1028, so obviously 28 would make the most sense. Let's have a look at it. I'm not going to go straight in there, I'm going to do a pattern. I have no idea whether it's left or right, and to be honest, does it really matter? And the answer is no, it kind of doesn't. But given the direction I'm going in, it would make most sense, I think, just to do a right circuit, come back round in for the 2A approach. So if you are an MSFS fan and user, and I guess many if not most of you will be, hopefully by now you've got World Update 8. You will have Sim Update 8, that came out a while ago, but World Update 8, which is the Iberia update. I went on the community fly-in when that came out, and we went flying, looked at some of the new landmarks, and I was looking on the stream and saying, I don't see that, I don't see it, that doesn't look like that on my screen, and I downloaded all the updates, all that was fine, and then somebody reminded me, of course, that the update's just the extra updates for the sim build. You have to go into the marketplace and actually buy the world update. It's free, of course, but buy the world update before it will install. So I actually didn't have the Iberia update at all while we're flying over the territory where we're supposed to see all these new sites. So that was a little bit disappointing. But I do enjoy the community fly-ins from time to time, I have to say. I'm just going to go flaps 50. 50. 50. 50. 50. 50. 50. 50. 50. 50. 50. 50. 50. 50. 50. 50. 50. 50. 50. 50. 50. 50. 50. 50. 50. 50. 50. 50. 50. 50. 50. 50. 50. 50. 50. 50. 50. 50. 50. 50. 50. 50. 50. 50. 50. 50. 50. 50. 50. 50. 50. 50. 50. 50. 50. 50. 50. 50. 50. 50. 50. 50. 50. 50. 50. 50. 50. 50. 50. 50. 50. 50. 50. 50. 50. 50. 50. 50. 50. 50. 50. 50. 50. 50. 50. 50. 50. 50. 50. 50. 50. 50. 50. 50. 50. 50. 50. 50. 50. 50. 50. 50. 50. 50. 50. 50. 50. 50. 50. 50. 50. 50. 50. 50. 50. 50. 50. 50. 50. 50. 50. 50. 50. 50. 50. 50. 50. 50. slow it down a little bit. Let's turn crosswind. Once I begin the downwind, I'll start a gentle descent. Let's just... there's the runway. Turn in circles at both ends. Again, looks like this might be a custom one, or maybe not actually, it might be AI. It's got a tower though. That's at 90 knots, which is okay. Right, as soon as I come abeam, there we go. Let's make our next turn. To the downwind. I never bothered turning my landing lights off, so I don't need to turn them back on. And I'm going to fly. I'll do a decent distance. It's not going to be short final. Get about 2/3 of the way to that big rock over there. And let's start a gentle descent. So airport elevation is 117 feet. So start with 300 feet per minute. Our way down from there. See, the prop animation is a lot smoother now that I'm at lower power settings. It just seems to be, once you get up towards the max power, it gets shaky. So I'm wondering if it's just an issue with the animation. Let's go to 400 feet per minute. Slight left turn, just so that I can hopefully loop it around quickly and end up pointing at the runway instead of right off. It's not the end of the world if I'm a bit off, obviously. And make the turn once some of these buildings have just gone under my nose. There we go. Come round to 280. G1000 telling me that I'm within 1,000 feet of the ground or the sea. Autopilot will be going off shortly anyway. Let's get ready for that. Go full flaps. Try and make my final approach speed about 90 knots-ish, and I've very much overturned. That's alright. Increase my rate of descent, and then autopilot can go off at this point. I can just hand fly it in. World's best approach, is it?
500.
It's a reasonable sized airport though. It's got the lights. I don't know under what circumstances the lights in MSFS actually you know, the indicator lights will come on. I expect it's got to be night time, I guess, or you know, below a certain intensity. You know, obviously with some add-on airports, I think you can turn the lights on. 24 hours a day if you want. I suspect an airport like this, they would be on all the time. Bit left. Ah well. Not the world's greatest landing. But then, to be honest, I'm not very good at landings. Kind of my weak point. Well, one of my many weak points. Right, we're going downhill here, so let's have the flaps up. Don't know why that aircraft appears to have a propeller going, even though I can see its propeller quite still, and that's got to be static because remember we don't have, unless it's live traffic, which I guess it could be. So the landing lights off. Might as well park it up next to this Kodiak. See. Yeah, that'll do. Cheating slightly there. Parking brake on. Taxi, nav lights off. Engine off. Shut down. There we go, we're down. Okay. Pitot heat off. In fact, the avionics and the power can go off, and we're all shut down. So, welcome to Horta Airport on Fayal Island here in, well, the Azores, I assume. My geography is not as good as it should be, frankly, but let's do the traditional pop out and look around. So does that look like an AI building? Yeah, I think these are AI buildings. Yeah, they're AI buildings. So this is not a handcrafted airport, but that's fine. They can't all be. It doesn't look too bad though. At least the cars have got their textures. So that's your lot. As I say, I just thought it'd be good to put a flight on the channel just so it didn't look like I was doing nothing at all. But progress is slow, and it's going to be slow for a while, and I apologise for that, but these issues kind of took me a bit by surprise. As always, if you are new and you would like to subscribe, I would definitely welcome that, but as I mentioned, updates are pretty sporadic, well, generally anyway, and now in particular. So if you are going to subscribe, do click the little bell icon, then you'll get a notification when I publish a video. If you like the video, then please do hit the like button, that does help. If you didn't like it, hit the dislike button, I'm okay with that. And if you've got any questions or comments, then leave them in the comments below. I do try and answer the comments as quickly as I can, even if I'm not spending time in the sim. I do monitor the YouTube comments and I try and answer as quickly as I can. So given I sit at a computer all day for work, that's one of the easier things for me to do. So leave a comment if you have any. But in the meantime, from here in the Azores in MSFS, thank you for watching, and I look forward to seeing you back on the channel very soon.